Hey guys, it's Walt and Brian. We are at the what are we at? We're at the famous Cigar Barbecue Expo thing here in I guess it's Bethlehem, Easton, Pennsylvania. So I'm Brian.
I'm Walt.
He's Walt. Yeah, you've seen him before.
But you've never seen us together.
Yeah, this is insane. So we really aren't the same person. There are two distinctly different people here. Yeah. So. We are lighting up a famous 70th anniversary Perdomo, and I'm getting closer and closer. This looks creepy, doesn't it? You can't really tell what it is, but yeah, take our word for it. It's a 70th Perdomo. It's a famous. It's one of, geez, like 6 or 7 different 70th anniversary sticks they've got out. They had a tripod over there. Jeez. Yeah. Anyway, small production note. Disregard. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, more importantly than that, we're actually in famous Hayward's office from Twitter, and it's kind of cool. We're actually in the famous building. We're outside of all the music and commotion of drunken people, and it's a lot of fun out there. But we needed a little bit of quiet, so we're in here now. And we're not going to give you a formal review on this cigar, for one, because my taste buds are pretty much shot at this point. I don't know how many cigars I've had today, but it was a lot, and I'm a little numbed from the entire famous Expo experience in terms of tasting cigars.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm feeling nice and charred all throughout the mouth. I have a better idea of how many cigars I've had. I put them all on the back of my little press pass badge, so... Let's see. I've had several. I know I've had a couple of these so far. La Gloria, some of my J. Fuegos that I love, the Gran Reserva Corojo #1. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know too much about this cigar. Mine's got a huge vein in it, a hole in it. I mean, aside from that, it looks great. Well, if you wanna peek in, it's like this is Gary Corb.
Yeah. Actually, you're the person to tell us.
Oh, you can,
about the 70th Perdomo.
Yeah, tell us something about it. Come over here and say something.
70th Perdomo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Scoot it over here.
Hello. Hey everybody. The 70th Perdomo is a similar blend to the 64th anniversary, and it is a box press as expected, and it is quite delicious.
No, you're thinking the Padron. This is Perdomo.
Oh, sorry.
It's
been a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Perdomos, they're all very good.
Yeah. Oh, this
they're
one is it? Nick Perdomo was telling me this is what $3 a stick. Is that right? He said something ridiculously low.
He's kept the price down for that one, and
$3 for this thing.
Some of them are one size, like the Padron I was talking about, and some are like three basic sizes: your Torpedo, your Toro, and your Robusto, or a Churchill, a Toro, and a Robusto.
So how many lines are there? I know there's like I've seen like Plasencia and Cusano.
There are La Aurora, Garcia, right? Perdomo, Padron, Cusano, and La Aurora. Did I get them all?
I think you had La Aurora twice. I know Camacho's coming out with one that's not out.
Camacho, yeah, there is a Camacho.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one. I think I have one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let me see.
This is going to be the trippiest video ever. Well, I mean, and it really does help that both Walt and I have been drinking all day in the sun. So, all day smoking, drinking, and Gary Corb, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned it before, just in case I did.
I don't have the La Aurora. I think I smoked it. I think I took it home. But this is the Camacho. There you go. This is the Padron. There you go. This is the Perdomo that the guys were just talking about.
Smoking.
Yeah. And the Plasencia has the purple band. This is a nice, spicy, rich-tasting smoke. It has no Ligero in it.
No Ligero.
But you'd swear it did. It's yeah. It's very, very Cuban-like.
Great.
You know, if you smoke a lot of Cubans, then you'll relate to this. So that's a good one.
If you smoke a lot of Cuban, shame on you. That's illegal.
Right, but everybody does somehow.
Well, anyway, we like to thank Gary for jumping in at just the right time to
Sorry about that.
to fill us in on the 70th lines made by the various manufacturers, most of which I think were here today. So yeah, it's pretty cool. See you, Gary.
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
See ya.
It's such an awesome video already.
So, well, we're here reporting on the famous Cigar Expo. We were fortunate enough to get press passes to the event, and so we figured we'd do a little rundown on some of the pros and cons of the events, just get our general opinion of the event, and maybe either sway you to not come next year, or maybe give you something to think about in terms of making a little bit of a road trip, or maybe even coming in from inside town, wherever you may be. So let's kick it off. What do you think? Pros and cons?
Well, being a pessimistic bastard at times, the big con, and it was the only real cons I saw to it, from my way of thinking, was the VIP portion of it was the night before, and partially due to things that were beyond their control, like the guy quitting that was going to box Pete Johnson. That kind of derailed the flow of the whole event, basically, and we had some rain issues the first night, so there was a little bit of disorganization in the beginning, so you really weren't sure what to do. But I think they might have been going for some sort of like a less formal insiders thing with the VIP the first day, so that may have been somewhat intentional. It did kind of seem like a little bit, you know, like, what's going on? We don't really know what we're doing, you know, that sort of thing. From my standpoint, not they don't know what they're doing, but not knowing where to go. Once things got going, though, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It strikes me as just like a big HERF with a lot of manufacturers there. The first day specifically, a lot of just sit down, informal time with manufacturers and just other people who like cigars. The next day was kind of like, you know, most of those large events where you go around and you visit the different manufacturers and they give you their stick and you get your goodie bag, and that's what it was. Oh, other big con: not enough ashtrays, not enough garbage cans.
Yeah,
plenty of beer.
Positive. Actually, that was one of the few cons that I've seen was. You know, you get into a situation where you're practically burning your fingers, you're nubbing a cigar, and you're looking around to get nowhere to put it. You know, I was really reluctant to just throw it on the ground, but you know, you knew that someone was coming around sweeping, and I still felt bad doing it. But you know, maybe some buckets with sand and stuff in it would have been nice, and not having to walk, you know, 50 feet to the nearest trash can. You know, maybe having something set up so that you didn't have to cross the entire tent or something to get to a trash can would have been a little nicer, especially with all the cellophane sleeves and stuff like that everyone obviously were generating. You know, it was very laid back, very informal, and you know, I thought that made it very fun. Our first night, as Brian mentioned, it rained, and the ring actually got soaked. There were some fights that were scheduled, exhibitions fights, and they had to be canceled because the ring was soaked. We had massive downpours for a little while, and so that was a little bit of a bummer. But after that, you know, we all had dinner, and all the manufacturers were sort of mingling. We actually sat down with Mike and Gary from Avalon Cigars and had dinner with him, and you know, we were talking to a number of manufacturers as they came up, introduced themselves, sat down. Right in the table beside us, we were sort of turning backwards and talking to Abe Flores from Pinar del Rio. A couple tables over, Jose Blanco was having dinner with you know, a couple of the people that he was here with. Chris, their Miami cigar rep. I don't know whether Eddie Ortega was there last night or not. You know, actually, I'm pretty sure he was. John Huber was walking around. You know, it was really cool to be able to interact with the manufacturers like that. It was very laid back and just a lot of fun in general.
Yeah, the one-on-one time with the manufacturers, the more relaxed conversation where they don't feel the need to sell you on the concept of their product or sell you their product. It was nice that first day. I got to say that the socializing was better that day. It was a little more hectic. The second day it was a little bit more businesslike. It was a little more crowded because, you know, then everybody,
general admission plus
general admission,
early admission.
yeah, plus the VIP people. So you had both groups of people, and I guess there's 200, 300, 400. I don't know how many general admission people, but you know, there was the right amount of space and seating for, you know, the VIP stuff. Very, you know, with plenty of extra seating, you know, extra space. You know, it didn't get crowded. It did get a little crowded with everybody there.
Oh yeah, well, actually, when we had dinner tonight, we ended up grabbing our food and then walking back around to a separate tent, which is sort of like up the parking lot and around the corner, where all the manufacturers were set up earlier. They were all broken down at that point, so you know, several of us were able to grab a seat very comfortably and have our food that way. And actually, it was kind of nice to actually sit down for a little while. We spent a lot of time walking around, talking to a lot of manufacturers. Unfortunately, just like at Cigar Fest, we didn't get much in terms of interviews. Actually, we didn't get any, which that may change if we bump into someone now that it's quieted down a bit. But it was surprising how booming the conversation was underneath the tent that we were under. It ended up being pretty loud. And then down in the food area, there was a DJ playing and a live band at one point. So it made it kind of tough to talk to manufacturers in that sense. And that's one of my biggest disappointments, that we weren't able to do something and speak with the manufacturers one-on-one like we've done in the past. And you know, maybe we'll have to come up with some sort of strategy to structure that in the future, and maybe make a point of setting up an appointment with them to do something before the show actually gets underway, or after the show gets finished up, or something like that.
Yeah, it's tough with these things because you know, we weren't the only press there, though. We were the only press that mattered. It goes without saying, of course. No, they're answering questions from a lot of people. Everybody wants, you know, to talk to them. If nothing else, they're coming out to get the free cigar that they're, you know, supposed to get, and check that off the list. So it's difficult to do that. And like Walt said, you don't notice it while you're in it, but there is a pretty, you know, dull roar of people, you know, inside. There's something about, you know, you get that group of people together, and even though there's nobody's, you know, screaming or yelling or anything like that, there's still a huge amount of ambient noise. It makes it difficult, and the thing is you never know who's got time to talk to you. So I mean, I think that either organizing beforehand, or had we actually gotten them to give us a table to set up, and we had, you know, like separate mics or something that we could pin on them, that might have been good. But it's just the opportunity's not there, and being on a press pass, again, just like with IPCPR, where anything we do is something that could potentially interfere with the paying customers, basically. Mm-hmm. So
I totally forgot what I was going to say. I had something in mind. Oh, you know what? I remember now. You know, we got to spend a fair amount of time with a lot of the manufacturers, just sort of impromptu little discussions about things that were going on here and there. Nothing was really newsworthy, just a little bit of discussion about the industry and things like that. But one of the things that I noticed that I really appreciated was all the manufacturers seemed to be in a good mood. No one was sort of just sitting on their own, stuffing cigars in people's bags and trying to hurry up the line. Everyone was more than willing to talk, and if the line got held up, oh well, the line got held up. You know, they were more than willing to interact with people, and I thought that was great. While Pete Johnson wasn't here handing out cigars, he was here for quite a while. He spent quite a bit of time with us. John Huber, Eddie Ortega, Jose Blanco, David Blanco, just a number of these manufacturers were, Brad Mayo from Jameson, just were more than willing to just shoot the breeze with us, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotta say, John Huber went above and beyond with shooting the breeze. I mean, I got the complete rundown of the Lady Liberty by Sucker Punch Sally's, the people who make that bike. Beautiful bike, unbelievably beautiful bike.
Yeah, the pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah, no, they really don't. I mean, everything's hand painted, hand tooled leather, you know, seats, and you know, what are they, saddlebags, or I don't know what the things on the side are. Not much of a bike guy, really. I could be if I win that thing, but I don't know that I'm in the running right now. No, beautiful. Got the rundown, cool as can be, you know. Yeah, guy went up a couple big notches in my estimation. It's just like unbelievably cool. But I mean, Jose Blanco's been, you know, he was cool. Eddie Ortega, you know, talked her ear off for sure, you know.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, very nice guy. Here's some fun trivia. Eddie Ortega, he was a computer science major. That guy was IT. Eddie Ortega is IT. Well, that means something to me because I'm in IT. It makes me excited. Like I have the possibility to do something great in cigars. And maybe not, but.
So more pros. Beer. Lots and lots and lots of beer. It just flowed nonstop. Very attractive women walking around, pouring pitchers, or actually pouring their pitcher into your cup, and making the rounds with actually, what was it, about 6 different microbrews?
Yeah, there were 3 different brew houses, and I think they all had two drafts apiece. I think this is the Lancaster Brewing Company's Strawberry Wheat or Strawberry Blonde or something like that. Very tasty.
Wheat.
Yeah,
it's tasty. like one of the Strawberry Quicks or
yeah, it is a lot like the Strawberry Quick. It's like, it's quick that'll get you drunk. It's great.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, that is the event. I mean, we've still got a little bit of time to hang out. We're probably going to end up catching actually, we just missed the shuttle.
Yeah,
so we'll be waiting for another hour for the next shuttle to come around. And that was really cool, too. Rocky Patel sponsored a shuttle bus. And basically, the shuttle bus is going from the Expo to both hotels in the area. They're actually, I think they're on opposite sides of town, so it's like a 30-minute loop. But you don't have to drive, which is very nice, especially with all that beer being poured. You need to get back to your hotel, just hop on the shuttle, it takes you there, and if you need to come back, hop on the shuttle, brings you back. It's obviously not running 24 hours. It runs, I think, till about 11 o'clock tonight, and it started up at about 10 o'clock this morning, maybe 11 o'clock this morning, something like that. But, it was a good time all in all. I'm really glad that I made the trip out. It was my first time here. And you know what? The retail store was surprisingly small. I expected this place to be massive.
Yeah, I mean the facilities. We got a small tour of most of the administrative part, but there's a very substantial humidor in the back. But the actual retail shop is actually pretty small. If you saw it from the outside, you wouldn't. I think it just says famous. You wouldn't know famous for what. I mean, you wouldn't really know that it's a cigar shop, but. It is a very large building, and
because
I would say probably a good 40–50% of it's, packaging and cigars basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but the shop itself, it's pretty well organized. It's really to the point. I mean, they got pretty much a box of everything in cabinets along the wall, behind the counter. So
yeah, they utilize their floor space well, but it's much smaller than I would have thought. Never having been here, I expected to come into this massive retail store. It's actually the mail order business or the internet business that's massive, and the building is just enormous. It's tons and tons of space here.
Yeah. So, 2 things come to mind. One thing is comparing this. I mean, you have to kind of compare this. I didn't go to the Cigars International Cigar Fest, but the one thing that the people kept asking, which do you like better? And I didn't go, so I can't really say. So Walt, you gotta say which of these 2 is better, having done both.
It's probably going to cost me a press pass next year, but I definitely think the Expo was better. The famous Expo. We were outside, which could go either way. I know last year it was like 100 degrees and people were sweltering and it was uncomfortable. This year the weather was fairly comfortable and nice. Being outdoors, you don't feel packed in. You don't need fans stacked to the ceiling to ventilate the warehouse space you're in. Cigar Fest they pack in too many people in a venue that's a little too small. By the time everyone gets in, you're shoulder to shoulder, and it ends up being one long line that snakes through the facility. I mean, at its peak, it was the same way here, but you could get away from that simply by going to the food tent, where you had tons more room, or walking outside the tent, and anywhere you're outside. Stand wherever you want.
Did they have it near their shop, so you could that?
I'm not sure how far it is from their shop.
So you couldn't just walk over the retail shop, because that's something that was part of the expo. It's like they had women bringing out little goodie samplers that you could buy, or you could just run into the shop at Famous and buy whatever you want if you didn't get it at the event. So I don't know if you could do that at Cigar Fest or whatever.
Well, if you hopped on the turnpike and took a little ride, you could get it. It was totally detached. It was actually in the Poconos, and Cigars International's in Bethlehem, so there's quite a bit of difference. You know, I don't know what it equates to car time, travel time. I've never made the trip from one place to the other. They're close enough that they run events and things like that and specials. So there's the pros and cons there as well.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing is one of the unadvertised benefits of the show, the Expo, was in the hotel itself. It was kind of neat how it worked out. It's essentially, you know, they have a recommended hotel. You get the the famous rate, which is nice. But the best part is I don't know if it's the area, lack of like really ritzy accommodation, or if it's just convenience, or if the manufacturers were playing it cheap. But I went out after the first night, and there's the smoking patio that they allowed us to smoke cigars on because it was a famous event was happening, and they got special rates and a special deal. I go out there, and like 24 people, and you had Gene Arganese out there, you had Nick Perdomo sitting out there, just mixed in and mingling with people. It's like after hours, so we were out there drinking our Yingling and smoking cigars with the manufacturers at our hotel after hours, just informally. So that really added to it, because it's bonus. And I'm thinking, since this is the end of this is the end of it basically today or tonight. I'm thinking when I go back, nobody's flying out tonight or driving away tonight. So I'm thinking I go down there tomorrow or tonight, and there's just going to be the same guys. I can't even remember all the guys. The guy from Oliveros, the Nick Perdomo. Oh yeah, and Placencia was there, and geez, I don't even know. It was insane. It was like an event in itself, and it was just, hey, we all happen to be staying in the same place. And then of course, I go down in the morning, and Nick Perdomo's there eating breakfast, and we talk about his Grand Cru cigar, and I tell him how much I like the Maduro. So that's great. I mean, how often does that happen? How often do you get to do that? Kinky Friedman came over and hit on my wife too. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, the hotel you stayed at was the first recommended hotel, and they ended up selling out. And Famous had to select a secondary hotel, which is where I booked. And I really wasn't expecting to see many manufacturers. I figured they booked their hotel early, and I'm not going to see any of them. Well, I get back to the hotel room last night, and I have a non-smoking room, so I decided to go around out back to where their smoking patio was, which doesn't sound anywhere near as extravagant as yours.
Yeah, I saw yours in the trolley ride. It's like
not very big.
It's like a doorstep with a chair on it.
But we go out there. We're hanging out for a few minutes, and a couple of the guys from Avalon came out. Mike, Gary, Pablo from Florida Gonzalez came out, and we were just out there for a good 2 hours, smoking cigars, having a good time. A couple of guys from Canada came out. We got to talking to them for a little while. Great guys that were telling me horror stories about the Canadian taxes on cigars and paying $12 for a Fuente Curly Head, which
$12 for a curly head
almost made me faint at a $1.50 cigar. But it was a really good time, and I expect tonight to be very similar. As I got on the shuttle this morning, I saw John Huber walk out. When I had breakfast this morning, I was talking to Jose Blanco a little bit. So people are around. I think Eddie Ortega is also in the hotel. So if I have any luck, I'll bump into these guys tonight when I sit down for my nightcap cigar, and and we'll do it all over again and have just as much fun.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's like I said, an advertised like a benefit, or something that, I don't know, you really couldn't organize it. It works out too well.
Can't forget to mention Dave from the Stogie Review fan forums, DXF.
Oh yeah, DKXFN or something like that.
We're gonna butcher the name, but we met him. We met a friend of his, and I don't remember his name. I know you do.
Oh, I remember. It's the guy. It's Dirtbag Face, actually.
Dirtbag Face. I thought it was something a little more explicit.
Yeah. No. Well, there may be more, but yeah, he's always getting his dirtbag face on, and that's his line. I'm stealing that line. That's not mine. I'm sorry, dirtbag face.
So we met those guys. We spent a lot of time talking to them. Had a great time. It was the first time that either one of us had met them. And they were one of the few people that recognized us. We really needed I was going to say Jay Cruz.
Jay Cruz. At Jay Cruz.
Yeah, we really needed Jerry for his fan presence. he seems to draw people in, and it's a good time.
Well, I didn't see him respond to it, but I told him that you know, nobody recognizes either of us, and they can't really tell us apart. But then again, all of us white guys look the same, so you know. No response on that. At least I don't know. My reception's bad. Maybe he did, but it would have helped, Jerry. We needed you. You know, we needed the torpedo to cut through the BS and get right to the nugget of gold that was this expo.
So I think we've rambled on enough and
yeah.
covered
Well,
everything.
I mean, what do you think of the cigar? That's the important thing.
Again, I'm pretty numb, but I can taste it. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of a punch through the sinuses, not in a bad way, but I can definitely feel it. It's got some body, it's got some flavor, it's enjoyable.
I mean, for $3,
and I can't believe it's only $3.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe it's only I can't believe it's only $3 either. When I said it, I went over to Nick Perdomo. He was hanging out. The event was winding down, and you know I'd been talking to him throughout the days, and you know he's a cool guy, and so I said, hey, you know, I'm smoking your 70. This is a pretty good stick. And he's like, and one of the things he says, well, you know, it's only $3. I'm like, are you serious? I mean, we used our connections to get a couple of samples, so I had no clue. So I'm impressed. You know, it's not. I don't know where I put it. You know, it's not like the Grand Cru or anything like that. It's probably more on the medium side. I think most of the 70th anniversary stuff is more medium. There's not too much in the way of really full anything. So, but it's got some good flavor to it. I can't tell you what they are right now. I mean,
I'm in the same boat. I couldn't tell you if I wanted to.
My tongue feels like flaming gravel basically right now. It's pretty awesome. But I've been enjoying these. I've actually, this is like the second one of these I've smoked today, and you know, I don't know what else I've had today. Had some serious Corojo and stuff. But yeah, I think we've rambled on enough, and I don't think there's any point to us talking throughout the entire smoke. I'm almost halfway through this thing now, so.
All right, well,
yeah.
that's going to cover it. Now we need to ransack Hayward's office a little bit and do a little rooting.
Oh, Hayward does have a mini fridge under his desk. It's full of Bartles and James. It's like grape wine coolers. I mean, seriously, what the hell? You know, really, man?
I'm
just saying.
Dog calendar
Does he?
here too. But anyway,
Yeah.
so
Let's see what else does he have on his desk. Oh, Avo signed a box of LA 2008. Let's see if there's any cigars in here. Damn it, it's empty. Well, let's see. Go ransacking Hayward's desk. He's got a stinky ashtray.
Alright, you want to introduce us?
Is it recording right now?
Yep.
Oh,
Right now. This is going to go in the end.
I said, yeah. I got a hole in my Perdomo here. What do I say?